I believe we should stop the executive action. Now, as far as I can tell, the Constitution has not been amended in the last 2 years. So I don't know how suddenly he acquired the power to do this.
On our second goal is to stop the president's executive overreach. This is not the way our government was intended to work.
When President Obama initiated deferred action for childhood arrivals, he did not change law. Essentially, through his executive power, what he has done is set enforcement priorities for the Department of Homeland Security.
First Reagan and then George H.W. Bush passed a program similar to the one that the president has recently announced to afford some temporary protection for those individuals. It was called the Family Fairness Program.
It's not out of the norm for a president to take executive action on immigration. In fact, every president since Dwight D. Eisenhower has taken executive action on immigration. And we will be defending DACA before the Supreme Court this year.
We're going to hear the term DACA and DAPA. Explain the difference.
Sure. So DACA stands for Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, and DAPA stands for Deferred Action for Parents of Americans and Lawful Permanent Residents. So to understand what those programs are, you have to understand what deferred action is. And deferred action is basically a decision by an immigration officer that a particular person, after reviewing their case, is not a priority for deportation. So why would somebody not be a priority? Well, there's sort of two major justifications for it. One is that there are certain limited resources. Congress allocates only about resources to deport about 400,000 of the 11 million each year. And so they can't deport everybody, and they have to make choices about who it is that they're going to be removing from the country. But secondly, it's a humanitarian justification. The immigration officer reviews the totality of the case and says that it's not consistent with our values, it's not consistent with our priorities to deport this person because of the compelling circumstances in their case.
So I moved here when I was 6 years old with my parents. At first, my dad and my mom came here, and then they stayed here for a couple months, maybe 3 months, and then they went back to Bolivia, and they brought my sisters and I to DC.
Well, the most important thing that you get is a work permit and relief from deportation, right? A lot of these young people, it used to be that they would go outside every day and, they wouldn't be sure that they'd be able to come home that night.
Now with DACA, I don't have the fear of being deported, which is great because I feel like I can actually do things in society and not be scared, oh, what if I try and get this job, but then they realize I don't have documentation and then something happens, the government finds out and then they deport me or my family. That was always the worst.
So that assurance is so important, and it's so important for their mental health. It reduces stress levels, it reduces anxiety, it reduces suicidal ideation, it reduces depression. It's so important in that way. It also increases their earning power when they have work authorization. When they get a work permit, they're able to go and get a driver's license. They can also get a social security number, which is going to be theirs and theirs indefinitely.
Like my first internship, I was able to get because I had DACA, because I had the work permit that allowed me to apply for a job, because I can't get a job if I don't have a work permit. And then for my university, I got the Dreamer Scholarship, which I couldn't get if I didn't have DACA either.
And it's actually an acronym. It stands for Development, Relief, and Education Act for Alien Minors. And it's basically designed to provide a pathway to citizenship for people who came to the United States as children and who've been educated here. It's kind of the inspiration for the DACA program, which President Obama announced precisely because Congress was failing to pass the DREAM Act, and there was a dire need. There was a whole bunch of people whose lives were really on hold or worse because of inaction from Congress.
Like, I came here when I was 6. It wasn't a choice. My parents brought me here to get a better opportunity in life and education, and all I've done since I've been here, I feel like, is try to be an American and just do the same thing as anyone else who's a citizen do in this country. Go to college, get a job, and then provide for my family. I don't think it's right that I should be in fear or that DACA may be taken away from me because a new president comes, and then it's like I'm back to square one. What am I going to do? Now I'm going to go back to a country where I was born, but I don't know anything of. It's just scary.
it can be taken away. And it doesn't communicate the thing that we need to communicate to these people as a country, which is that this is your home and you're welcome here. And, you've been educated here. We've invested in you. You've invested in this place. You know no other home. And so this is where you should be permitted to stay on a permanent basis, and then eventually join our polity, become citizens like the rest of us, because that's what you already are in your hearts.
As long as they give me the opportunity, I'm first in line. Like, that's all I want to do. I feel like I'm an American just as much as anyone else who was born in this country. I've been here since I was so little, and everything I've learned has been in this country, and I'm thankful for this country, and I want to keep living here and providing for society. But when I'm not even given the chance, it's like, what more can you do?